Welcome to the GTP. My name is Scott, where we talk all things manga. I'm excited to share with you my haul for the month of September of over 65 volumes. And this haul really is a conversation between you and I about what I picked up, what's new, what I'm currently reading, and why I picked up these volumes. So let's go ahead, sit back, relax, and let's get started. And because this is a conversation between you and I'd love to know in the comments below, what did you pick up or read this past month? So let's go ahead and get started with ongoing or missing titles that I received from Viz Media. And the first I got was Fly Me to the Moon. This is an adult romantic comedy by the same author that gave us Hayate, the Combat Butler. Up next I picked up was One Punch Man Volume 26. This is a comedy series through and through. Now the arc it's currently in has gone on very, very long and I'm ready for a new arc. But this one was actually pretty intriguing. Now I wish these would be coming out a little bit faster than they are, but that's okay. So far so good. If you have not checked out this series, I highly recommend if you're looking more for a comedy action series. Next I picked up one of my favorite titles that have come out this year, and this is Helk. And what I love about the series, it just has continued to get better and better, with Volume 5 being the best volume yet. It has comedy in it, it gets kind of dark and edgy at times. If you've not checked this out, this is one that should be on your radar. I believe there's only 12 volumes total, and you're seeing this viewpoint of the demons versus the humans, but in the mindset here is the demons aren't necessarily always bad. In fact, the humans are realizing that, oh, there are actually worse things out there and we used to get along. Phenomenal story, interesting seeing the other side of things. Gotta check out Help. Next I picked up was Volume 13 of Call the Night. Now this is a series that has continued to get better and better like Help. Now I did a review of this series a while back. It didn't seem to do very well. I'm not sure why. I don't know, maybe I'm just terrible at reviews, but such a good vampire series as a self-discovery, and there's laughter, there's humor, there's action. It's a very good shown Sunday title. It's one I highly recommend checking out if not already. Next, speaking of earlier from Fly Me to the Moon, here is Hayate, the Combat Butler from the same author, Volume 42. Now I believe there's 50 volumes total of the series. It's completely done in Japan. They're just taking their sweet time bringing the rest of the series out to American English. I am grateful. It does seem that Viz is going to finish the series, even though it's kind of fallen off the radar and not as many people are still, I know, reading it. But because of the Viz Media price increase of 20% more, this series was on my radar and I wanted to go ahead and grab it. Next I picked up was Volume 3 of Dark Gathering, and I know what you're thinking, Scott, whoa. We saw a haul recently of Volume 1. Now you're showing Volume 3. Where's Volume 2? That is a phenomenal question. I hope Volume 2 ships very, very soon so I can tell you more about this series. I thought the first volume was okay. As you're following this group of individuals, they're kind of like hunting ghosts. It seemed intriguing. There's a bit of a horror aspect of it. It's kind of spooky. I want to hopefully say it's great. I know the anime is going right now, seems to be doing very well according to my anime list. So that's all the thoughts I have for Dark Gathering. Next, I got Mashle Volume 13. This is everyone's One Punch Man meets Harry Potter manga series. Now I believe it just finished recently with 17 volumes in Japan. This is Volume 13. So we're slowly getting more and more of the story here. My guess we'll have the entire series in completion next year, and hopefully a box set for those who haven't picked it up yet. Next I picked up was Chainsaw Man Volume 12. Now this is actually one of the few series that I have continued to follow digitally through the Shonen Jump line each week. And I will say this is considered part 2 of the series. I think it's okay. I'm not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed part 1. There's aspects, I think the beginning, this volume, especially Volume 12, I thought it was actually better. And as the series has progressed, this is kind of embarrassing. I don't know if it's just because I'm reading each week, but I'm almost a little bored. So my hope things get, cranked up again, just like we saw with the Chainsaw Man Part 1. Maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm just not reading continuously, but it was a very good series from Part 1. I'm hoping Part 2 will go ahead and just continue to ramp up again. Next up, I picked up is one series that was on hiatus forever, and I'm actually I kind of can't believe I'm holding this, but this is volume 37 of Hunter x Hunter. Now, Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite animes of all time. Such a phenomenal series. I felt because I love the anime so much, I had to also get the manga. Now, I got the entire series from the Right Stuff anime holiday sale a while back for $5 a volume. I'm so happy to continue the series. Now, if you caught up through the anime, I think this is the last for now 5 volumes. This will be an extended continuation of the story that's not in animation form. So if you want to continue the series, I'm so grateful for this volume. I hope we continue. It goes on more and more. My hope is we'll get another volume at least next year of 10 more chapters. Who knows? But I'm in amazement on being holding this. This is Hunter x Hunter. Next I picked up was Moriarty the Patriot, Volume 13. This is a Sherlock Holmes story. The only reason why I have not started the series yet was because of the Viz Media price increase. I felt I should go ahead and just pick up the series. So it's on the back burner. As you can see, we have other series I haven't had a chance to read yet. It is one I was intrigued to check out myself, as I've heard many good things. But the main reason why I got it is it's one I wanted to read. It was on my radar. With the price increase, I figured it's better to act now and hold it off for later than to finally buy it later and it's 20% more. Next I picked up is Fist of the North Star Volume 10. Man, I'm really enjoying these hardcovers. I think there's gonna be 18 total. It's so neat to see Viz Media take appreciation to an older series, and you got a little bit more of this blood splatter. If you saw from my collection video, when we put them together, it gets kind of a nice little spine of the different pieces. But if you're looking for a series that inspired so many other series in the future, especially like JoJo Bizarre Adventure, this is a series you want to check out. It's a post-apocalyptic world. Next, I picked up one of my new favorite slice life series, and that is Insomniac's After School. Now, this is a cultural festival, which is, yes, we always love cultural festivals. As you see, we got the fireworks, we got the yukatas, everyone's looking fabulous, maybe some forbidden love. This has been such a good series so far, as you're following these 2 high schoolers who struggle to sleep at night, and now they're part of the astronomy club. It's just been a very wholesome series so far. And last from Viz Media I picked up is Alice in Borderlands Volume 7. Like the Fist of the North Star, they have these lovely spines when they come together. It shows part of the Borderlands city. This has been such an interesting series, almost like a battle royale, as there's this place called Alice in Borderland. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Now, Netflix did a live action adaptation, which is phenomenal, that finished the entire series. Now, there's supposed to be 9 volumes total, and this is one of the few series where I've enjoyed the live action just as much as I've enjoyed the manga itself. It's still, my gears are turning. I'm fascinated by the series. This was ranked one of my favorite series to come out of last year. It's still been such a fun read. Highly recommend it if you haven't checked out already. Let's go ahead and now check out ongoing or missing titles that I received from Yen Press. And the first being, apparently Disillusion Adventures Will Save the World. Now, if you're a person who enjoys isekai mangas, even though it's not really isekai because they didn't fall into another world, but they're already in the world to begin with, if you enjoy RPG tropes, this has been such a fun series so far. I've had laugh out loud moments. I enjoy following the party as they're trying to hopefully get to know each other better, and they're starting to build trust. It's just been a fun series. In this one, they find a intelligent weapon that can talk back to them. It's just funny. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a humor with those RPG tropes, this is a series for you. Next I picked up is No Longer Heroine, Volume 4. This surprisingly has been such a very interesting series for me. Tons of drama. When I'm reading this series, there's times I'm just cringing at the decisions that the main character is making, as she wants to be the heroine of the story. She wants to be the girl that gets the guy, and instead it's now been reversed. And it's almost like she's becoming like the wicked stepmother. Instead of being the heroine being good, it's almost like she's turning bad to now hopefully use evil for good so that she can go ahead and get the hero of the story. Is it gonna work out for her? From this label, doesn't look like it. If you're looking for more of a good josei series, a little more cringy, this is one you've got to check out. Next I picked up was Tomb Raider King Volume 4. Now, what I appreciate about this series, it scratches just a little bit of that same itch from solo leveling. I don't like it as much as solo leveling, but scratches some of that same itch as your person, his skills are leveling up. He has kind of this system that goes in front of him where he can collect things. He has a magic bag that he can pull items from. You're following this character as he has all this knowledge of the future, goes back into the past, and now he's trying to rewrite the story of these tombs that are having all this legendary treasure. The only thing I gotta say, a bit of a gripe I have with this series is the main character just seems kind of arrogant at times, and at the end of the day, there's nothing that can go wrong. Anytime something goes wrong, it always works out at the end for him. He's almost like a MacGyver. That's the best way. It feels sometimes like a MacGyver series where, oh, how's he gonna get out of it this time? And somehow it's just always working out. So I'm hoping there's gonna be some type of drama that hits him too much, something that just destroys his humility a bit, or sorry, gives him humility, crushes his spirit. We need a part in this series. I hope it continues where it crushes his spirit so much. But if that sounds interesting for you, gotta check out Tomb Raider King. Next up is a series that was recommended to me last year that I've just fallen in love with, and that is The Remarried Empress. Now, this series follows this gal who's the Empress, and her so-called husband decides to go ahead and get a little side hustle going on with another girl. Now, she's not having it, and now she's having to cater to that girl. She's having to deal with all this drama. This girl has worked hard. This Empress has worked so hard to be a good Empress. The education, prepared. She raised her entire life for this. To have some kind of side hussy take it from her, I don't think so. If that sounds intriguing, you need to check this out. Next I picked up was volume 2 of 3 total volumes of Horizon. Now, this series is definitely not for the faint of heart. In fact, some of the pages were a little gut-wrenching and almost a little too much for me, as you're seeing the ramifications of war, and you're following this little boy and this girl here is from that aftermath. It's a little rough, but so far it's been it's a good story, but it's not for the light of heart. Next, I picked up the lovely hardcover of A Bride Story Volume 14. Now, if you saw from my last haul, I now have the entire series. This is from the same author that gave us Emma, which I really appreciate. Yen Press also gave us a hardcover for Emma. Phenomenal. What I love about the series, almost more than anything, is it has just some of the best artwork panels and costumes for a series. Highly recommend if you're looking for something a bit different, a little more historical. This is a series you'll want to check out. Let's go ahead and now check out ongoing or missing titles that I received from KODANSHA, and the first being Wanna Dance Volume 6. Now, this is a dancing manga series as you follow this main character who ends up finding life through the art of dance. This is one series that has a ton of characters, but they've done a great job sharing that cast. So if you're looking for something that is kind of different, this might be that series for you. Just because it has to do with dancing doesn't mean it's not a good manga. I knew nothing about soccer and I fell in love with Blue Lock. I knew very little about the world of art and I fell in love with Blue Period. Now I'm hoping I'll feel the same way once I start Wanna Dance. Next, I picked up volume 26 of Noragami, the Economy God manga. Now, this series has 27 volumes total, and KODANSHA is doing a great job now of bringing the 3-in-1 Omnibus edition. Now, if I didn't already have almost all the singles, as you know, only one more left I need, I would go ahead and pick up the omnibuses instead. So this is a series that had tons of popularity. Man, I mean, this cover just looks so cool. So if you haven't heard the series already, I would highly recommend get the omnibus now. That'd probably be the best way to go into the series. And last from KODANSHA I picked up was the Omnibus 6 of Fire Force. And now I really appreciate, if you saw from my collection video, the spines, they connect together, look really good. And what I appreciate about the omnibus with this KODANSHA edition is it actually has a larger trim compared to the singles for Fire Force. So they just did a really good job, and it doesn't feel too bad in your hand to go ahead and hold this omnibus. So, and it's a cheaper price. So you're saving money, you're getting a bigger trim, you're getting this lovely spine that connects together. So if you're interested in the series from the same author that gave us Soul Eater, so that's the reason why I went in and I picked this up. Let's go ahead and now check out ongoing or missing titles that I received from smaller publishers. And the first I received is Mob Psycho 100 Volume 12. Now I think there's, I want to say 15 total, maybe 16 volumes for this series. Now this series, this is the last volume that goes into the second season of the anime, where I believe the next volume goes into the third season. So if you've seen the anime, it gives you a good idea on what's in the manga, as they did a very good adaptation of it. I enjoyed the anime so much, I felt it would be wrong if I didn't go ahead and get the manga as well. Next I picked up was Volume 7 of Kimono Gen. Now this is one of those series, I'll be honest with you, I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship, as the first volume was okay. Second one was okay, and then third was really good. Fourth was, I don't know about the series, and then fifth one picked up, and then the sixth one was even better. So it's a series that it took a while to give it some breathing room. It's funny as you're following these sense of characters, these detectives, as they're going around solving different mysteries of these people who can turn into monsters. So they're monsters themselves, essentially battling other humans that can turn into monsters. And the story is finally, it's just gotten really good, and there's a good arc and mystery where at first it felt more episodic. So I appreciate this long arc we're in now, and has some funny moments to it. If you haven't checked out, it might take your interest. Next, I picked up the 100 Girlfriends That Really Like You Volume 7. This is a series, this is a comedy series of this boy who went to the gods over and over again and prayed for the love of his life. And he goes one day and finds out, like, oh, we actually made a mistake. We're gonna say yes to all of them. So because of that, he has 100 girlfriends that he doesn't have a choice, but he now has to allow them to be the love of his life, and things just don't go very well. Could you imagine having more than one person in your life, let alone having to manage all those relationships, not have anybody die? Well, if that piques your interest at all, if you're looking for a very hilarious comedy type of series, this might be for you. Next, I picked up one I gotta talk about just a little more than normal, and actually I'm going to be dropping this series from this volume, and that is Homunculus Volume 3 and 4. Now, this series is very intriguing, the first volume. If you remember from my haul a while ago, I said I'm gonna give it one more of these. Now, it's starting to go down a darker path than I could stomach, I could handle, and I guess my biggest gripe with this series is you can't fight evil with evil. You're still evil yourself. And this series, as he has this hole in his brain that was drilled, that released this pressure, that gave him almost like a sixth sense, and he can see where people are struggling really bad. Now, in this scenario, as he helps this one person in the beginning of this volume, it just made my stomach turn. It made my stomach turn. What he was doing to try to help this person was just flat out gross, evil, disgusting, and that was the way to cure her. There has to be another way. There has to be a third option. I understand life is not black and white. I understand that some people go through some very twisted and horrific things, but doing horrific, twisted things to go ahead and cure someone who's dealt with horrific and twisted past, that's not the way to do it. So because of that, this just isn't for me. And last, from smaller publishers I picked up was Tokyo Revengers Volume 13-14. I have absolutely love this series, as you're following this main character who goes from the future into the past, and he's trying to rewrite history. As the love of his life, he broke up with the only girlfriend he ever had in the past, and in the future he watches on TV and discovers that she is killed. So he's now going to the past, trying to change events so that the only person he ever cared about has a chance to live. It has been a very interesting series, kind of a bit of the sci-fi. The idea of the changes, decisions we make, how it can make other ramifications. It's just been so interesting, so good. I'm at the edge of my seats every single time when I get one of these volumes. It's one of those stories I just cannot put down. Now, the series is finished digitally. I understand that people did dislike, no ways business, the ending, could not stand it, almost as bad as I heard as Attack on Titan. I'm loving the journey so far. I'm enjoying it so much. I hope the ending's not so bad to the point that I just want to get rid of all the entire volumes I have, but I'm enjoying the journey so far. I already can't wait for the next volume. Now, let's check out new to me series from Viz Media, and I only got one, surprisingly, but it's this lovely hardcover of Midnight Children. Now this series, my only gripe is that the MSRP for the series is $27. It doesn't feel like a $27 book. I would clearly pay, you know, way below retail price for that, but I will say this has some phenomenal artwork. I'm blown away. Now the story is very spooky. It's supposed to be a story of Dracula. This is from the same author that has Climber, which is one that we hope one day will make it to America. It's very popular in Japan. He also did another series called Innocent, which is Dark Horse is bringing out this November, which I have on back order. But very interesting first volume. I was at the edge of my seat with just some of the spookiness to it. The artistic design is flawless, beautiful. I'm very interested to see how the series goes. Very good. Again, my only complaint and gripe is it doesn't feel necessary or fair to charge $27 just for each volume. That is a very expensive, almost like, I mean, you can find for below MSRP, let's say, you know, the Helsing Deluxe volumes for around $32. Now, obviously, because you're not paying MSRP, maybe you find this for $20, but I don't know at $20 if I could convince you for each volume that, I mean, let's say it goes 4 or 5 volumes, that's $100. I don't know if I can convince you for that for the series, but hopefully they can make it out free digitally, maybe through the Shonen Jump or the Viz Media line, because it is a good story. I'm not sure it's at the best price and easy entry for people to go ahead and get into the series physically. Next I picked up from Yen Press is My Youth Romantic Comedy Is Wrong As I Expected. Now this series there's 19 volumes out, and I was surprisingly able to get all 19 volumes. Now I don't know if you've ever seen this before, where you're looking at some manga after you read a story that you thoroughly enjoyed, you flip through the back and see there's advertisement for other manga. I had never heard of this series before. It was on the back of one of the volumes I was reading from Yen Press. And I was like, huh, that looks really interesting story. I go on my anime list, I'm like, oh, romantic comedy series? Go on my anime list, I'm like, hey, this has really good reviews. A lot of people seem to like this series. I wonder if I should go ahead and check it out. Oh, there's a lot of volumes. That's pretty expensive. I wonder what the price is used. Oh, get all 19 volumes for around $6 a piece? Why, yes, thank you very much. So because I was able to get this series so cheap and get it in bulk, I went ahead and I picked up the entire series for around $6 a volume. So because of that, we have this entire series, and I'm looking forward to, on a cozy rainy day, to go ahead and start reading this. My Youth Romantic Comedy Is Wrong As I Expected. Next up I picked up new to me is The Deer King Volume 1. Now this series is a bit intriguing as you're following the journey of this main character here. He's working the salt mines, and then all of a sudden like this plague of wild dogs comes in, and then he gets bit, and somehow now he doesn't die and get incredibly sick, but other people do. So because of that, now people are hunting him because they think that he's the cure. Now this guy, we're still trying to understand his past. He's very knowledgeable. He might have been a warrior back in the day. There's some political intrigue as you're seeing infighting amongst these different groups, as well as this disease that is plaguing people. So very interesting first volume. I'm looking forward to see how this continues. I'm glad Yen Press went ahead and brought this out. And last from Yen Press I picked up is Jungle Juice from the Eyes Press line. Now I do want to forewarn you, this has to do with insects. Do not Google search any of these insects that are in this story, as you might not be prepared. I discovered something I did not need to know that existed, and when I read more about it, I was horrified. I will share this with you as a forewarning right now, but don't Google search it, but that is a cockroach wasp. Should those be together? No. Are they disturbing apart? Absolutely. I don't want anything to do with a cockroach or a wasp, let alone that there is an insect that is a combination of the two. No thank you, but it does exist, and that book revealed this to me. Now this story has to do with these people who, they had this bug spray, and when they sprayed it, whatever it killed, part of its DNA mixed with them. So now these people are part insect, part human, and now for some reason there's a college dorm that they all are at, kind of like a school of My Hero Academia but for insects. They're not necessarily heroes, but they're trying to fight other people who are part human, part insect. Intriguing first volume. A lot more depth than I was expecting from a series like that. I was a bit surprised. So I'm looking forward to continue on with Jungle Juice. And what's interesting and entertaining is, you know, I don't know why, but maybe because they're bugs, they don't want to spook people out too much, but everyone seems to be attractive in this. Even the old people. The old people are super buff. So I don't know if they just for some reason thought, but you know, this old man here, he's, you know, as good looking as anybody else here. So that's Jungle Juice. Next, let's check out New to Me from KODANSHA. And this is actually from their vertical line, and that is Go With the Clouds North by Northwest. Now, this entire series, Right Stuff Anime, before they closed, did a publisher sale with KODANSHA/Vertical. So if you saw my lovely podcast interview with Daniel Peppers, he just raved how much he loved this series. So because of Daniel Peppers, I said, you know what? I've got to check this out. And a couple of comments, I said, yes, Daniel Peppers is right. This is a really good series. So that's why I went and picked it up. And because I have all 6 volumes, sounds like it's time for a future review to tell you more about this series. Let's go ahead and now move on to my favorite segment, Out of Print. And I'm so excited to share with you a series where I got almost the entire series for about $10 a volume. A series I never thought I would be able to own, but I got the first 12 volumes of Mars. Now, this is a very popular Josei series. This author, she also did Eternal Sabbath. I'm not sure why this hasn't been picked up. I know it's available digitally, but I'm surprised KODANSHA has not brought this physically again. So I, again, never thought I was going to own this series. It's been on my radar for a while. I've just been watching. You saw, if you watched my video where we went hunting for manga, I was able to see the volumes. They had them for sale at Half Price Book, the first 4 for $15 each, and just a little out of my price range, and I'm so glad I found these for around $10 each, and it's not as yellow as the other ones. So excited. Now I just need to get volume 13, 14, 15, which are probably the most expensive of all the volumes, and even some of them, like, there's barely any yellow. I'm just blown away with this opportunity to get this series, and hopefully soon I'll have the entire series and be able to do a review. And last from out of print I found is Defrag Volume 10. If you've been following me for a while, this is one of those series I've been trying to collect for a bit and slowly been able to pick up more volumes, and Volume 10 was the only one where I just didn't see for sale at all. And eventually it popped up on Abe Books for less than $10. So because of that, I went and I snatched Volume 10 and Defrag. This is a otaku game club slash video game versus board game club, and it just, these high school antics, it just seemed a lot of fun and up my alley. So that's why I went and picked up the series. Because I have the last volume, I can now go ahead and check out Defrag. So that's my entire haul for the month of September. I'm looking forward to your comments to hear what you ended up picking up or reading this last month. And if you'd like to see more content like this, if you're not done so already, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That helps others know about this community that we built together. And who knows, we're almost to 1,000. Wow, that is thanks to you. So thank you so much. Hopefully you have a wonderful day.